The manager of the hotel, I think, has joined us. Innocent has joined us. He can add on something that they do or anything that they feel I have left out. And also the principal of Harare Poly, Doc, and also Poniso from Watema from Tare, my colleagues in Zimbabwe.
That's great. That's well noted. I see the hands of Innocent Manyera. Innocent, you can ask your question, please.
Okay, thank you so much. Mine is not a question. I'm actually Innocent, the general manager for CAT Group of Hotels. That is, University of Technology Hotels. Like Rose alluded earlier on, our culture is to make sure that we meet 50-50, the industry and the academia. What it simply means, if you would identify an industry or a corporate, that is an organization that is operating in Zimbabwe and beyond, and we realize that maybe, or we find out maybe they have got quite a value that can bring to the university. Our task through our PR department and innovation department is to make sure that we engage them and call them aboard and give us idea that we will say, for us to make sure that we buy in the idea as academia, please, can you be also a partner in terms of funding the idea in our different SBUs and our innovation hubs, as Rose spoke earlier on, that we have got, each and every university have got now more like an innovation hub that is actually for incubation and other projects that will be taking place. So we'll bring the organization, acknowledge that they are running a successful business, and share their dreams with us. Then we give them the academia that will do the researches in Zimbabwe and beyond, and other successful companies, and we try it as a university. The moment that industry, they feel that they've got relevance in academia, they will be part of us. So this gap that we are talking about can actually be bridged by the university itself, that have got few resources, humble itself, engage an entrepreneur that have got the resources and ideas that have worked very successful, and even maybe employing more people than the university itself. Then we acknowledge that they are important. We bring them aboard, and now they would assist us with funds and even ideas of what they think their organizations and the country at large should be. Like the case of our hotels and how we treat our alumni. We actually have a task force in each and every department to follow up on alumni, see what they've done good, and improve on what they've done good, and also tap in the things that they've done good. That's how the relationship have been working for CAT. It's not a very big university, but we are calling shots in terms of Zimbabwe industry and the world at large. The thing is, we follow up on alumni, and we make sure that we take each and every idea as a positive contribution. I think I am not an alumni of Chino University. My undergrad I did with the Middle State University, and my master's I did elsewhere. What it means is, I have realized that Chino University, they take serious input from alumni, because these are people who are familiar with your own teaching and learning, and even the education 5.0. What it means, they can say it while they are also in the industry, but they might not be confident enough to say or to share their ideas while they are students. But if you follow on alumni and make sure that they are relevant stakeholders and other stakeholders in the industry, there's actually a way forward in bridging this gap. That's why you see there was quite a number of projects that Rose listed in terms of what we have done as University and Zimbabwe at large.
Wow.
We follow up on alumni, and funding will come from all over. So that's my input on that one.
Lovely, thank you very much.
I see. Wow. I see the hands of Dr. Violet Makuku. Doc.
Yes, thank you very much. And once again, it gives us an opportunity to reiterate to those who are around that, please, the treatment that you give to your students matter. If this university had a track record of not treating students well, I don't think even if they had the resources, they would still come and make an input to the institution. So we need to treat them. And there's one thing that Innocent has said, that they also listen to them. It doesn't work to have the exit interviews, to have the evaluations of course content, of teaching and experience, without improving what the students say, because they are full human beings, grown-up human beings, who can tell that this has been done well, this has not been done well, and so they can fall out of love with the institution. But Sir David, can I also say that I need to be out in like 20 minutes because I need to prepare for a session which is starting at 2 p.m. GMT and ending at 4. So I may not be available from the next few minutes. Thank you. But I would have loved to hear Mrs. Anca from Namibia. Thank you.
Thank you too. That's a wonderful input. I would even want to find out from Mrs. Rose Sibanda whether if your school has been indulging in graduate tracer studies after school. Do you conduct a graduate tracer study to be able to know where your alumni are and where they are faring? Can you be able to give us a little exposition on that?
I will throw it back to anyone from the Zimbabwe Institute who is here. Particularly, I think Innocent is here.
Innocent, yeah, Innocent.
Innocent, because it comes from PAT directly.
Okay. Thank you so much, moderator. What we have done, we would actually a directorate to deal with the alumni. This they've got database of all our students, and we will make sure that we will follow up on what they are doing or what they will be doing after the university. It has since helped us. We have got quite a number of scholarships that comes from the industry, but it's actually driven by the love of alumni towards our university. They would want actually to be followed and acknowledged that they have been part of us and encouraged in whatever that they are doing, be it employment, be it on organization that they will be running. But alumni is easier to tap into as compared to approach a new investor altogether who is clueless of what is a university is. And what have helped us is actually to make sure that there is a directorate that have to do with alumni. So we make sure that average 95% of all graduates, they will be on track. And we're encouraging them through career guidance, encouraging them through research, encouraging through site visit of our PR and the alumni department to say, we have visited your company, want to just see how we are faring. What it means, we will be creating a relationship that will last forever. Even for enrollment, reference-wise, it will be very easy because you have got a director of certain organization that will be referring students to University of Technology. Same as University of Technology can actually refer some other organizations for consultation, for other things that have been worked for them. In the morning, we had a workshop that was actually from one of our alumni. She was training us in several areas, but it's actually from alumni that is training a university in non-academia areas to do with management, generation gap management in terms of how we treat our attaches, be it apprentice or graduate attaches and so forth. So there's actually quite a number of things that we can benefit. But for funding and scholarships, it's easier to get it from a big sister or a big brother who is a former student of that university. So so those they're actually not there if you are approaching your alumni as compared to approach someone who have got an open door policy who is not an alumni. So that's the advantage of that. So I think Rose, you have said it well earlier, and it's in order.
Okay.
Can I just add to that from a
quick reaction?
Can I just add from a personal experience? Also, because they follow up their alumni. I'm not a very big business person, but I'm an alumni of CAT. I would get a call at times from the VC when the Vice Chancellor Muranda was still the acting VC. I would get a call directly to say we're going to be having a PR event and we expect you as our EA alumni to support your university. So a lot of us did, because it will be very embarrassing. You will feel honored to be phoned by the VC himself to say, please, can you support us? You feel known, you feel wanted, you feel honored. And I would support.
Rightly said, because I believe. Innocent, do you want to still speak?
Yes, sure. Thank you so much. I think some one or two speakers, they spoke about our graduates or alumni conduct when they go for attachment or if they go for employment or any other conduct during the association with the university. That on its own will make sure that industry have got a positive mentality towards your own institution. The moment that you encounter students that have got some kind of mixed behavior and character, it will actually have a dent towards your own university and any other engagement that you might want industry to listen to coming from academia. So like in our country, the setup has been of late, people, they have been saying our students are not well behaved. What it means, if you send a director of research and resource mobilization to look for funds, people, they will say, you cannot fund your institution. They won't tell you, but it's because of a student on Atachi. So ubundu of our students and any other stakeholder associated by our institution is supposed to be top notch and recommendable. Thank you.
Thank you all. Thank you. I think the points have been clearly made and noted. Well, that it's an insightful presentation. And we have learned that our alumni, those of our alumni, they also matter. Aside that, too, we also know that it depends on the kind of relationship we build with our alumni that will inform them with the decision to come back and always give back to the university. And as I would suggest, we should continue to embark on our graduate tracer studies, which is very important. And most of the higher education institutions in Africa, one thing I'm beginning to deduce is that when students complete school and they leave, hardly would you see the university building that relationship to even know or get to know what is happening, where their students are faring, and how far is life moving with them. It's as if that the moment they enrolled or they get enrolled and they complete and graduate from school, we don't take the keen interest to also begin to search and to track our students. So I believe that is very, very, very crucial thing that we should take note of that, and we should start working towards that. And I know that with time, things will work out for all of us. Things will work out for all of us. Yesterday, I saw Madam Dr. Irene Brew-Rive was giving a presentation, and she made mention that her institution, that's the University of Westminster, a whole alumni dedicated the assets to be a sponsorship to some of their projects, which was very, very good. It was insightful. Initially, I was thinking that because in UK they might have a good system, they have a good system and they have good leverage of standards of living. But I think it doesn't matter. It's all about it boils back to relationship. What kind of relationship do we have with our alumni? And how are we ready to honor them, show them that respect, give them that platform to also showcase, for them to also project us? It's very, very important. So I think we should be, in going forward, we should be looking at all this, which I think is something that it borders to the continent. So thank you, Innocent, and then Madam Rosemary Sibanda.
Yes,
and I think that's great.
Just a quick one, Sir David.
Okay.
Yes, very quickly. You know what? Even if you do not have an alumni office, the most important thing is to collect reliable contact details for them before they leave. So that's one thing. Exactly. And then, yes, from the institutional evaluations we have done, here we did Ken University, we did Zimbabwe Open University, we did Durban University of Technology, and many others in some 15 countries. People don't do tracer studies. When we did the institutional evaluations, that was one of the cause for concern, that people don't do tracer studies. So how do you improve when you don't know what is happening to your students? Thank you.
Hey, thank you, Dr. Violet Makuku, and we are grateful for your input. At this moment, we have in our midst, and thank you once again, Rosemary Sibanda. We are grateful for your presentation. Thank you so much, and we are grateful. We are grateful. We appreciate that, and you have added to knowledge, which is going to be adopted, and I believe is also going to be adapted in research. They say research can be adopted or it can be adapted. So it was full of insight and knowledge, and we've also adapted something. We are also going to add to our curriculum development and also to add to our knowledge. So thank you so much. We have in our midst, that is Dr. Irene Brew-Rive, and she is coming to present on extracurriculum activities that needs to be embarked in our universities. In fact, we've delayed her because of the time, but I think she had accepted it wholeheartedly and she would want to present for us as at the time. So, Dr. Brew, we are sorry for the delay and we say you are welcome back. Thank you.
No problem. Hello, everyone, and good afternoon. Am I right in saying I'm sharing my screen, please?
Okay, go
if
ahead.
I could have a yes, if you can see my screen, please.
Yes, we can see it. We can see it.
Fantastic. Okay, thank you. All right, please bear with me. Okay, so thank you ever so much for the chance to share. And colleagues, I think it's because we are probably used to working for long hours that we're all still here. So many of us are still here. I sympathize that we've been going since 9:30 a.m. So we're probably a little tired. I'd like to give you a small assignment, as teachers always do. I'd like you to please think of one thing that you can add to what I've got to say. I'm going to time myself and hopefully not go over the 25-minute mark. And I've actually invited one of our alumni to hop on at some point. So when she comes in, I'll be able to give her a chance to say a few words as well. And so I'm from...
We'll be grateful.
Okay, so I'm from the Westminster Business School. I think everyone that's online was probably here. And I noticed something Dr. Makuku said. Dr. Makuku, I'm a fan, you probably realize. Dr. Makuku said something about us being role models for our students. And I hope that we're all going to be working on that, you know, being role models so that people see what it is we profess. I put this slide up about the university, and I think everyone was here yesterday that's here today, so I won't go back over that. What I wanted to talk about was really what we have done, and I know everybody here is involved in some extracurricular activities and opportunities at their university, so I'm not by any chance trying to teach anybody anything. I've only come to just share a little bit about what we do, and hopefully I can pick up from your views what we might do better and perhaps what you are also doing. So I wanted to start off with a very quick comment by way of introduction, say a little bit about the entrepreneurial mindset, which I think has been alluded to. I'm going to share my video as well to make it a little easier for people to see my face. And then I'd like to make a comment about clubs and societies. In talking about clubs and societies, I'm going to talk about something that's happening at the University of Westminster and then something that happened at the college I used to work at. Then I'll mention student representation, which I believe one of the speakers spoke to yesterday, talk about volunteering, a type of internship that's a little different to what we've been discussing, a comment on networking. So I've got quite a full menu. And something about special projects, and that's why I have a picture from Colombia here. And then something that we've done at our university called the Westminster Employability Award. You may want to think about adopting something similar for your own purposes. And then I've got a few comments from the experts I spoke to when I heard about coming to share about integrating industry and academia. So moving on. Let's see. Right, I seem to have a small issue with my slides. Please bear with me. Okay, let's see. Fantastic. Okay, so we've heard about what the World Economic Forum has said to us, that apparently half of us will need to reskill in the next 5 years because of the double disruption of the economic impacts of the pandemic and the increasing automation we're experiencing that are, transforming jobs and changing the way we work. All of us will have to upskill in some way, I believe. The types of skills that we know are very important have been spoken about, and they fall into 4 main categories: problem solving, self-management, working with people, and technology use and development. And as I said yesterday, I see myself first as a student. So as I talk to you about these things, I hope you can also perhaps put yourself into the shoes of being a student and look at what adjustments you might need to make as we seek to be role models for our students. So the entrepreneurial mindset then, I wonder, do I have anybody on the call who would like to quickly give us a definition of what the entrepreneurial mindset is? And please just grab the microphone and speak. We don't need a quote, we just need your view. Anyone?
Hello.
Hello.
Okay.
Mr. Ampofu, you have the microphone.
Oh, I think an entrepreneurial mindset is a mindset that sees opportunities, tries to do things faster, cheaper. Okay. So that is what I can say about it.
Fantastic, fantastic. And Mr. Ampofu, you're absolutely right. We talk about it as being a very dynamic approach to doing things. We have vision, we are minded to change, we want to be creative, we apply energy and passion towards creating and implementing new ideas and creative solutions. It is the vision to recognize opportunity where others see chaos, contradiction, and confusion. That's not me, that's Karatko from 2020. So I see that the entrepreneurial mindset is at home in Africa because we have lots of challenges, which means we have lots of opportunities. So it's a great place to be and a great time to be alive, much as some of it can be quite difficult and quite challenging. So I think we've had reference to the three parts that make up the entrepreneurial mindset from what Dr. Makuku said yesterday. It's about cognition, how we think, it's about how we behave, and it's about how we feel. And very, very briefly, looking at each one of those, first thing to say is, as entrepreneurs, and I'm going to assume all of us in education or in industry are looking to be entrepreneurs who create value. We think differently. We don't think that we can stay the same as we are and everything will be all right. Our courses need to change. We as people need to change. Our students need to change because we exist in a very dynamic environment and a very complex environment as well. So we need to think about the way we can create value with the resources that we have in the situations that we find ourselves in. We have to think differently. Secondly, taking action is absolutely crucial. What I believe is I'd rather have a go than sit down and just talk. So often, you know, we have so many conversations about our problems in Africa, so many conversations, but I think, you know what little can I do? Because that little thing we can do will be like a mustard seed. UENR have challenged us by setting up this particular conference. All of us are hopefully going to take away something. I've made lots of notes. I'm going to take even better care of my students. Now, how do we behave as academics? What do we have? What insights have we got from our reading and our research that will help us spot opportunities and help us create ventures? And I was talking to my youngest daughter the other day and I was saying to her, start a reading club online. You know, we can do so much because now we're all using technology. So our behavior is part of what we consider when we consider entrepreneurial mindsets. And okay, it's all well and good saying our students need to be entrepreneurial, but I think we as academics have to be entrepreneurial as well. And our emotions will follow. And of course, we can't rely on our emotions because there are times when we're going to feel stressed, we're going to feel like we can't go on and so on. But as we do what we can, as we think outside of the box, as we attempt great things, our emotions will also adjust. And even when we feel down, we will find a way, which is why, of course, we're here together supporting each other. And I just thought I'd talk about briefly the principle of reciprocal determinism, which is the fact that everything affects and is affected by everything else. By taking an action, it will impact how I think. How I think will impact how I behave and vice versa. So in our institutions, with our students, why don't we continue to attempt great things and maybe small things? Because what we want to do is to have students who leave us with entrepreneurial mindsets. And as I talk about extracurricular activities, we're talking about how these can help our students to think differently, feel differently, and act differently. So the first thing I want to go into is clubs and societies. So the club and society I chose was one called Westminster Business Consultants. So the students actually have set up a consultancy, they take on projects, and this is outside of the curriculum. So we're going to run a module like that, but these students have a chief executive, and they have somebody in charge of legal, somebody in charge of marketing, business development, etc., etc. And as they take on projects and work together, they clearly hone and develop their critical thinking skills, their problem-solving skills, their emotional intelligence, team working, etc., etc. And they leave us much more rounded than just by attending our classes. The other clubs and societies I wanted to talk about was one that I was involved in for a number of years. We called it Vin Squared Enterprises, and this was at the college I was working at. The college had a mixture of level 3, so A-level type courses, and higher education courses. And what we did every year was to have 3 main events happening. So every year we would have a sponsored run. We would raise money for a charity. And that just gave us all the opportunity to go out, have fun, but also practice fundraising and being able to negotiate with people, getting prizes such as a hotel stay, etc., etc. We also had a cooking competition. We just called it Ready, Steady, Cook. The students who entered would pay a bit of money to come in, and we had outside people coming in as well. You can see me here taking part in all of it. And we would then give you a box of secret ingredients, and you had to cook something, and we'd have somebody come in and judge. We sometimes had Levi Roots coming in to judge. All of that, again, home developed our skills. And the other thing we did every year was to have an enterprise festival where we would have speakers, a competition, we would have a fashion show, we would have singing, we'd have dance, all within the college to give the students an opportunity, a practical opportunity to use their skills, to develop them, to hone their skills. And so this is the kind of thing that I believe we're already doing. And I'd just like to say, let's continue. Let's find ways of using these opportunities to help our students, encouraging our students to get involved in this sort of thing. And student representation was spoken about yesterday. Okay, our students are the ones who speak about us, and the people coming into our institutions believe our students more than they believe us, because we're paid to say these things. I have a picture here of Chantel, who's from South Africa. So Chantel came in and she was one of our best student representatives. Guess what? Before she could even finish her master's degree, she had a job. And she's gone into working with AFS to be this representative who will take care of students. And she kind of just did that because of how she traveled through the course, really involved with being a class rep, being a course rep, being a representative for our department. Volunteering is the next thing I wanted to mention. And I wonder if Narian is on the call, please. Narian, if you're on the call, could you please say hello on your microphone?
Hi, I'm here. Hi.
Fantastic.
I'm here.
Excellent. Narian, could I hand over to you? This page is all about you and your life. You have the next few minutes. You may take it away.
Okay, so I want to talk about, hi everyone, my name is Narian, and I schooled in Ghana for a long time. I did my bachelor's degree in Ghana, and my senior high school too I did in Ghana. But during after school, I had the opportunity to, after my bachelor's degree, I had the opportunity to volunteer with international service. So I don't know how come I got the link, though. I think it's one of those, someone passes on to the other, and then I decided to apply. And it was a very great experience for me, because it was the first time. International service works like they bring students from the UK to Ghana, and they pair them with the Ghanaians to be on the field or with a particular NGO. So it was the first time working with someone who is not from Ghana and being in a team. How even teamwork with your own colleagues is quite challenging, let alone someone you don't understand probably their background and culture and all of that. So, but it was a great experience for me. It sort of brought up this idea of wanting to give back to society and have impact on society. And we worked with Youth Alive. So we had sensitizations, we went to schools, we met with parents, we did radio programs. And it was the first time I was doing something like that, because I read accounting in school. So after international service, we were told to do a community program on our own. So you go back home and then you do your own community program, and then you sort of write a report to tell them what you've done before your certificate will be given to you. So I did one at my hometown, and it was a very good project, and I decided to keep going, like get other students on board to go to the schools, primary schools, to speak to them about education and all of that. It was a very good program. For Mentoring Women Ghana, after international service, you know, after school unemployment and all of that, so you get to, someone sent this link. Mentoring Women also pairs young ladies with people in the industry. So we met in Accra. So we go to the Parliament House, we go to the Supreme Court, we went to other, I would say, institutions in Ghana. And then you go meet one-on-one with your mentor, who can take you to their workplace and then teach you what they do. So it was very useful. I think that was where I got my first job. So I was unemployed for like 1 year, and through the Mentoring Women Ghana, I got my first job. So I moved to Accra. And when I moved to Accra, I heard about the Bar Camp Ghana. So they bring people who want to do something in society, who want to impact Ghana, who want to do something that is great. And then they meet with resource persons and all of that. So as Dr. Irene was saying, yes, for me personally, I think some of these things go a long way to increase our exposure. And that is what helps us to be able to communicate with whoever the employer we are sitting in front, or all of that. We, as Ghanaians, I believe we are very intelligent, but how we are able to expose ourselves to some of these things and make us confident in who we are is very crucial. I have been participating in a lot of these. When I came to Westminster also, I decided to do a lot of things. I was part of the mentoring program as well. And I had a very good mentor who helped me, linked me up to a lot of people. There was this employability award as well. And it has a breakdown of activities that you do that will build your employable skills, I would say. So a lot of people, LinkedIn is one of them. If you have a LinkedIn account, is one of the things. And a lot of Ghanaians are not on, or students are not on LinkedIn. I think LinkedIn was the channel I got to meet Dr. Irene, I would say. So LinkedIn, you can get, you can just type whoever the CEO of whatever company, and you can just connect with them and you can start interacting. It's a great platform, but students in Ghana, we don't know much of these. And aside the employability award that I personally, I would say 1 year master's in the UK is very tough. So if you are able to add some of these things to academic work, that is what will make them see that, yes, this is someone who pushes him or herself. That will make you more employable. And I also joined the International Student Blog. So I was doing some videos for Ghana, and then I think I did one blog also about being in London and all of that. So thank you. I think that would be all.
Lovely, thank you. Narian, if you don't have to rush back to work, if you stay online, people might want to talk to you once we're done, which will be in about 10 minutes.
All right.
Okay. Thank you so much, Narian. And ladies and gentlemen, I thought the proof of the pudding and the eating would be so much better. Narian was an outstanding student from Ghana who was a distinction student on our master's program in international development. So volunteering, and of course, we ourselves volunteer, and hopefully we can encourage our students to volunteer much more. Everyone's talked about internships and some of the challenges in getting internships. I heard a story from the person who was one of the founders of this company called Forage. Now, they used to be called Inside Sherpa, but now they're Forage. And some of our problems with getting internships can be solved by introducing our students to virtual internships. So anybody can sign up. Anybody can have the opportunity to spend 5 to 6 hours doing the assignment, and it's free. So there are all sorts of companies on this platform where the students can expose themselves. And when they've done the work that they're supposed to do, the companies also look through what's coming through, and sometimes they will contact the students. But even if the students are not contacted, this is a great opportunity that we can sell to our students. So I'm always on the lookout for opportunity, and this presents itself as one of the answers to the challenges that we face in getting internships for our students. So ladies and gentlemen, this was all I wanted to say about internships. Please talk to our students about Forage, encourage them. I encourage my students, I encourage my daughter who's just come out of university to engage with this as well. The next thing I wanted to talk about was the importance of networking. Narian has alluded to that. Really, really crucial, because our network is often how we get as far as we need to get, because every person is a door of some sort. Instead of just saying, you know, let's network, I just wanted to share something I learned with you. So sometimes you're thinking, when I meet people, what am I going to say? And many of you are master networkers, but someone taught me a very short formula that I wanted to share today. What do I talk about? Family is always a good one to talk about. Next, occupation. What do people do? Then the next thing is recreation. How do they spend their time? And lastly, motivation. What is it that pushes them to do what they do? And this is a formula that I share with my students, especially those who say to me, I don't like talking to people. I don't like going out. And I say to them, try form. And when we have the opportunity, we actually practice this sort of thing. Narian spoke to us about employability. But before we go on to that, I just wanted to say sometimes, as we heard from the gentleman from UENR, we can have some special projects for our students. And this summer, we had a Colombian specialty coffee company pose a challenge to our students. So our students worked on this in teams for 2 weeks. And actually, the team that I thought was going to come last came first because they came back, showed us what they were trying to do. We helped them, gave them support, and this was fairly transformational over a short period of time. So sometimes it doesn't have to be that detailed. It might be your friend who has a company who could give your students a live project to work on for a short period of time. And all of those things are some of the ways we're building the skills in our students. Narian mentioned this, and whilst I was talking about extracurricular events and so on, I just thought that this might be a way of interesting your students also. So our university has decided to make this into an award. So there are 4 stages where students will do activities like skills audits, etc., to get to know themselves, then look at the options, attend career events, gain some work experience, hopefully through an internship, and then get ready through, you know, interviews that are not for real, and so on and so forth. So, ladies and gentlemen, whilst you might already be doing lots, it may be that you could perhaps consider whether having all the things that students do brought together under an umbrella, such as an award, might be helpful. So we have a bronze, silver, and gold, and it depends on the points. So the different things you do will give you different points. So your skills audit, etc. Some of them are just basic, others will give you points. So this is the list, some of the list of things. Anyone can email me for what we do, and then this is the different points that you get, and then how you can verify that you've done it by putting information onto a particular website. Okay, so as I draw what I've got to say to a close and hopefully take questions, you can see Narian's picture there. I thought I'd share with you some of the thoughts of the people that I spoke to before I came to see you. So Kweku Eduardo is the Chief Executive of Standard Chartered in Southern Africa. And when I said to him, Kweku, what do you think our students need? He said, well, relevant academic knowledge is important, but everybody has relevant academic knowledge. So be sure about your technical skills, and don't underestimate the importance of interpersonal skills, because people do business with people they like. And one of my friends said to me, when he's thinking of recruiting somebody, he thinks, can I have this person next to me in the boardroom? That is what they're thinking of. So how do I present myself? How do I speak? How do I write? Those are the important things that Kweku is highlighting. And then he said, you know, we need to think, what makes us stand out? And we absolutely must work on our communication skills because people are attracted to good communicators. And he said, you know, be flexible, be fluid. Nothing is too much for us to do. I remember some of my students said, I want to manage. And I said, well, to be the king, you often have to be the servant. And Mansa happens to be chief executive for Standard Chartered in Ghana. I think she's the first woman. And she said to me, please highlight digital and technical skills, problem solving, creativity, critical thinking, emotional intelligence. So these are some of the things. And she said, be obsessively curious. And that's me. I am very curious about people, what they're doing, etc. Narian has spoken to us and shared her story and told us a little bit. But Narian also said to me that sometimes the students get the feeling that we come teach and go. She thinks we need sometimes to be more connected to our students and let them feel that we care about them and continue and build up a relationship, as Dr. Makuku has been saying to us right through. And Rocky is an entertainment lawyer from Nigeria, one of our alumni that loves our university. And he said to me, you know, think about the value contribution that we're making. What difference can we make? How adaptable are we? And he said, Irene, please emphasize hands-on practical experience. So Narian mentioned last night when we were talking that there was some software they were supposed to use on their course, and they never got to use the software. They had theory about it, and there was a lot of theory, but as much practice as possible is really important. We saw Serena yesterday, and she said to me, she's just got a job with Thomson Reuters, and she was saying adaptability, problem solving, communication, really important. My friend Baba Wiswansa, who used to be the Woodin brand director, said, Irene, talk about project management, the ability to use the Microsoft suite, soft skills, digital skills, emotional intelligence, and of course, entrepreneurship. And lastly, my friend Helen Amakwe, who's the director of risk at Guinness, said, please, you need to gain an understanding of stakeholders. What are the needs that our stakeholders have? And of course, our stakeholders would be industry as we're speaking. What are the deliverables? How smart can we be? How do we understand big data and organizational structure? I could go on and on, but I'm going to stop here and say thank you so much for staying. Although this was a very long day, I'm passionately curious about what is going to happen in the days to come. I think our best days are ahead of us, but I hope this won't just be a talking shop, but we will take action in any small way that we can and be persistent in wanting to change our world. Thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Brew. That was very insightful. That was very great. In fact, a big applause to you. Yeah, and then that was Marian, right?
I'm Narian, so Marian with an N.
Oh, okay. Maybe that's
although she comes in as Nari, but she's Narian.
Oh, I see. Marian, thank you so much too for that exposition too on that. I think we've learned, and I think we will be so happy if you can put in that. I can see from Anca Fourie to everyone, he said beautiful presentation. So that is kudos to you.
Thank you. Stamp of your kind.
Yeah, I can see from Arnold Moyo to everyone, said amazing presentation indeed.
Oh,
so
you're very kind. There's something I wanted to say, but sorry, if I could just take 30 seconds. Ladies and gentlemen, you probably recognize from my presentations that I don't use too many words. This is as a result of being a student myself. One of my friends owns an advertising agency, and he came and talked to my students about presenting. And he taught me that if I can use images and put all my words into my speaker's notes, I might actually have more of an impact. It's something that I'm trialing over the last 2 years, and I think it's just something I learned that has helped me a lot.
Okay, that's brilliant. That's well noted on that. I think Madam Dr. Makuku has sent in her email address. Those of you can see from the chat box. You have to also take that notice and then contact her on that. And then we have also placed into the chat box, that is we're asking all participants to kindly email the center for further engagement. So we wish we've placed in our email address over there so that you can equally put in there. A message from Louisa Atasapon treasury to everyone. I said, Dr. Brew, please, could I get the links to the sites on the various virtual internships availability? And he said, I would want to read more and know the different opportunities.
Sure. And actually, it's just one site, and it's called the forage.com. So I'll just put it into the chat for you. So, and you can just access that. So it's just called the forage.com. And actually, if you actually Google forage, it will come up.
Okay, forage.
Yes, and it has loads of them.
Okay. I'm having another message from Tilly. Tilly to everyone. I said, that's true. Dr. Brew, images speak so much. Now presentation is all about infographics. Good jobs. Good jobs.
Thank you.
I'm getting another one from BA Downquire. He said that what Narian said is very true. I have learned a lot. Thanks, Dr. Irene. That's great. That's great. That's great. So, ladies and gentlemen, the floor is open for any further questions. Anything more you want to know from Dr. Irene Brew? If there is any, I can see Kankam Wedu. Mr. Kankam, do you have anything to add? Okay, I see a hand from Osei Owusu-Ansah. Mr. Osei, please, you can speak now.
Thank you. Thank you very much. It has been amazing, Dr. Brew. Thank you for the presentation.
You're welcome, Mr. Owusu-Ansah. I've
really taken note of your slide. It looks amazing. Yesterday, I was telling one of the participants that, in fact, the way the slides are presented, it doesn't keep you like a robot. You speak from the heart, and that is something we can learn from. But in Ghana, sometimes, per all my education experiences, when you're even given a presentation to do, they give you a font size, font type, that kind of thing to present. And when you try pictures, really, they are going to fail you. That is, I don't know whether we can practice something like that here, and whether our education system will allow us to go through. As we have all the stakeholders on board, maybe they would also try to adjust the system so that we can do better than we've been doing previously. Thank you very much.
Mr. Owusu-Ansah, you know, you've made a very interesting point, because I used to also have bullet points all the time. But this way of doing it is more time consuming, but I think it's more effective. So what I have are the notes pages. So, you know, when I send you my slide deck, you have to look at the notes. So I've got notes under each slide that will give you longhand. So if our lecturers will be open enough to allow us to have a presentation, and then some people call it a supporting document. So if I show you, for example, what I've got here, you'll notice that here's my slide, but underneath the slides are my notes, you see. So I think that works better, because sometimes people read when I've got lots of text on my slide. So I like it to be, you know, we're listening, interacting, and then we can read a bit later.
That's good. I can see the hands of Ampofo Gracious. Ampofo, you can ask your question, please.
Sure. This is Brew-Rive. That was a beautiful presentation.
Thank you, Mr.
Yeah, I followed every bit of it. Quite exciting. I was just looking at the program, your presentation on how to write a compelling CV. So the focus was on writing a compelling CV, interview, grooming, and then presentation skills. All right.
Mr. Ampofo, I think because the two things seem to be quite close together, you might have thought that was me, but I was under the impression that was a separate webinar for UENR students to conduct. So mine was talking about the use of extracurricular activities. So I know if you look at my name and the line underneath, that was my presentation. And then there was meant to be another about writing a compelling CV.
Thank you so much. Thank you.
You're welcome.
I just want to know the international services opportunity. Is it only for university students? Can any student just try?
To be honest, Narian, could you answer that question? Because all I did was interview Narian and find out about the organizations she'd worked with. Marion, are you able to comment if somebody who is not at university could apply for international service, please?
Yes, international service is actually open to everyone, but they work in the northern part of Ghana. I think there is another one that works in the Ashanti region, the Ashanti part, region part of Ghana. So anyone can do it. We had various Ghanaian volunteers who were SHS school leavers is open to everyone in Ghana. So far as you can sit down and do the application and then go for the assessment, they see a chance of getting in. Yeah.
Wow, noted, Marian. Okay, any more questions? I see the hands of Anca Fourie from Namibia. Miss Anca, you can speak, please.
Thank you very much. It was very insightful. I think you just gave my whole presentation because I talk about the employability.
Oh, fantastic.
And the gap between the industry. And a lot of the things that the people at the end said, I can really, really voice. And obviously that is where education needs to head to. So I don't want to pose a question. I'm very encouraged by the initiatives you have in the academic sphere, because it's absolutely what we need for the 21st century in terms of where we're going to head. And it voices a little bit of frustration. Some of the institutions don't actually spearhead that way. Mm-hmm. And then you find that the graduates, after they have actually acquired a degree, that they are not employable. And you see more and more graduates standing, sitting at home.
Yeah.
So, yes, so obviously from that perspective, I felt it was very useful, and definitely sharing that with the rest of the attendants would really be useful, yes. So, but after so bear in mind that you probably mentioned a lot of the things that I'm going to put in the slide. It's just mirroring that it's spot on, actually.
Excellent. Yes. Thank you very much.
A quick one to that before you reacted. Madam Anca Fourie, you'll be the next speaker to speak with us. So just give us the next 2 minutes, please. So we are going to usher you in very soon. We know we've taken your time, but just be patient with us. Thank you. Okay, Dr. Brew, react to her question, please.
Oh, I just think that's really cool. I mean, I think together we can really change, but what is sad sometimes is we expect our students to change, but we often are slow to change as academics. And I think people are often afraid to tell us that actually, lecturer, what you're telling me today has put me to sleep because you've spoken to me for 4 long hours and I've not been engaged. So we need these conversations, and we need to think as lecturers, why do we think what we've been doing for 20 years will still be okay? We need to change as well, because the world is changing. And our students often don't say anything. They just kind of bear with us. But is it working? I don't know. And if it's not working for our students, then I think I have to change as well.
That is very brilliant. Any more questions? Any more questions from our panelists? Those of our participants? To Madam Dr. Irene Brew. So we hand over to Ms. Anca Fourie. Any more questions? Okay, I think I can see another message from Kilian Asosiga. He's saying that very informative stuff. I have really learned a lot in these 3 days. Really appreciate all presenters for the wonder work done. That's great. That's good. And then I think Ampo Fugratio has also sent in a message. So thank you very much, Nari and Dr. Revison, for the response. Wow, that's great. I think I can see Dr. Revison has sent in the email address. That is ibrewrevison at westminster@ac.uk. So you can also access it through that link. I see the hand of Tilly. Tilly wants to ask a question. Tilly, go ahead, please. Yeah.
Hello.
Yes, you can ask your question, please.
Okay, thank you. Thank you, Dr. Rivison. I am interested in the bedshed by Nara or Nari about the volunteering activities. It's something that for some time now I've been thinking of how do we get access to some of these groups to join, you know, because with the work that I do, it's part of it. And as a result of that, I've developed that interest in it. But finding a suitable one or an appropriate one has been a challenge for me. So I want to know, is there any link that we can access, I can access, to enable me harness on that volunteering aspect of my work? Thank you.
Marian, are you able to give us a few pointers, please?
Okay, so currently, I think Barcamp Ghana, if you're part of the network, is a group of people, is based on regions. So they have a group that they send these informations to your emails, and if there's any volunteering opportunity, you can pick up. But I personally also like going to opportunitiesforafricans.com. So there are various programs that is going on, scholarships, writing projects, a lot of things that's for Africans basically. So you can check there as well. But if you join Barcamp, they send every opportunity in Ghana that's there to your emails, and if you're interested, you can just pick it up.
Oh, okay. Thank you. So you said africanopportunities.com, right?
Opportunities for Africans.
Opportunities4africans.com.
Yes, please.
Okay. I'm very grateful.
No problem. Thank you.
You too.
Okay. Hello. Can you hear me, please? Hello.
Yes, David, we can hear you. Over to you, please.
So, okay, thank you so much. So, Dr. Rivison, thank you so much, and we appreciate your presentation. And we also thank you for being with us for the past 3 days. In fact, your support and then your commitment to making this project a success has become overwhelmed to a lot of us. As you can see the comments coming in, it means that you have really invested part of your time to making this program a success. We thank you and we appreciate you so much. And may God richly bless you for this presentation. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Okay, ladies and gentlemen, at this moment, since we are exhausted, we wouldn't take the time of Madam Anca Fourie. So, Ms. Anca Fourie, we would want you to take the podium, as we would want to see a little profile of Ms. Anca Fourie. I wish to do this, but if you don't mind, you can go ahead, please. Ms. Anca Fourie, if you're online. Okay.
Sorry, my video was on, but my mic wasn't on. So thank you. I think my profile, just to be quick, I'll just start with that after I've shared my slides, is I just want to see where my slides, I'm not an academic, so bear with me. Can you see my slides?
Yes, we can.
Yes, we can.
Okay, super. Just want to see that I can. Okay, so my name is Anca Fourie. I'm from Namibia, and I'm basically acting in both spheres, based in the economic sphere, of the academic sphere as an educational specialist in Namibia. And I'm also a chartered accountant. And then as a chartered accountant, I also have my own consulting business, which I started about 8 years ago. So I operate in both sphere, help a little bit of the academic side, and the entrepreneurship side is my own consulting business is, and I have some few other businesses. So I just want to hide this so I can just see. Okay, so I'm basically multiple facets, servicing corporate clients and basically helping educational matters with the Namibia. In my role as an entrepreneur, I've known that I've seen the employee side. I've had many people I've interviewed. I've seen the graduates, and I know what the general need is in terms of that. So my topic that I need to cover is employability and the skills gap between industry and then the higher educational institutions. So from an industry perspective, there's often a big gap between the academic and the qualification and the skills need in the workplace. Many times the question is raised from the industry, does the academic qualification provide what I need? And then during the individual interview process, the question is then asked, is the individual, does they have the necessary skill to fulfill the task at hand? How much training is needed? Emphasis in these days is to get the right person for the specific task. And then we will be able to grow into the position. So the focus is a little bit different than previously, where you had to be the right person or you had to have the right skills already. Then this is exactly how I see it. The perception of employability is a perception of a specific individual. There is some general knowledge, skills, and attributions that will at least get you to an interview stage. But ultimately, to be employed and to be employable, you need to be able to, it is the perception of the person that is doing the employment, the employer. Often there is a big gap between how I perceive myself and what the need is in the workplace, like it is evident in that picture. And that is where you find graduates ultimately don't understand the perception, where they start and where they need to get to, where there is, which poses sometimes a problem in terms of employability. So employability is just the skill set. It is being the best you can so the organization can succeed through the achieving your potential. So it is a win-win situation. Always, all parties should win in the situation. If you have the right employer and you have the right employee, then the whole organization will benefit from it. So employability. Employability is having a set of skills, both technical, attributes, and skills. So it is professional and personal attribute, technical insights, and a set of skills. And that will make an individual more likely to be chosen and secure occupation in which they can be responsible and make an impact. Again, the focus is not only on the technical, which is the part where the educational part is, but it is on a skill set and not only on data and getting information, but on insights. So to step up from where we used to be. So moving from data to insights. So knowledge obtained through academic teaching and programs is not enough. To be employable, you should be able to observe data, to gain information, then evaluate the meaning of it, and ultimately display insights. Even if it's not in a technical field, during the interview session, scenarios will be created. And I often do it, where I would test people's ability to gauge if they can have insights. So most industries and employees expect people that they can apply their mind to a situation and gain insight, have an opinion, and be able to direct the person through the process to say, this is the information I got, this is the knowledge I obtained, this is ultimately the insight that I can give. So a qualification is no longer enough to help with employability. So that then leads to exactly what the other entrepreneurs said. To demonstrate insight where we would expect people to be, you need to have critical thinking. It is essential. Without critical thinking, there's no way that you'll be able to impact an industry or a specific company. And if that is the case, there is no win-win situation and no benefit. So the critical thinking is the ability to evaluate data and insight on a technical level, but also on a personal level, be able to resolve problems. You need to have the skill to take into account all the information you got and ultimately lead to strategy, a bigger picture kind of thing. No longer are we just a small component, but the focus is much more on having a bigger impact. And then innovative ideas and outcomes, that is expected to demonstrate resourcefulness, being able to develop strategies, taking into account the long-term solution. You know, we live in a society where everything's a quick fix. There is a 1 minute, there's a 10-step to being successful. There's a pop-up in the microwave, 1 minute meal. But the reality is we expect, from an interest perspective, that people should be long-term focused. They should be able to practically translate ideas to actions and also not generate only one option, but more than one option, to be creative, to be adaptable. That's part of the critical thinking that makes you employable. If you can demonstrate that, you will not only be employable, but you will ultimately be successful and a leader. Self-management, having your own goals and vision and taking responsibility for your own growth. That's often a challenge. You often get people and graduates specifically wanting to be managed, but no longer we don't have the capacity or the availability to manage people. And the reality is, in this current 21st century, with the various ways of interaction, virtual offices, virtual meetings, there's no way of managing in the old-fashioned way where you stand next to each other's table and then say, "Oh, you okay?" There's the entrepreneur and the managers and the leaders can no longer do it. So self-management is critical. And then learning. No, it's not only learning and being technical good. It is lifelong learners. Creating lifelong learners in this age and time with the technology available. To be honest, if I don't have a technical matter, I can Google it. But if I have the ability to apply my skill, be critical, self-manage and have innovative ideas and generate an insight, then that would be of value. And lifelong learners mean I'm adaptable. That means I don't have a skill that's only set in time, but I will develop in time. So why is it essential? So the employer can gain sustainable value from you as the employee and from your graduates, from your specific academic institutions. Then skills. What skills do we need? We need to apply and use technologies. It's both technical and personal skills, which a previous speaker has adverted to. Technical should include IT skills, using IT to organize data for work-related matters. There's lots of IT applications, but, and this is a big warning, and it's the most conflict at the moment at the workplace, is the misuse of Twitter and Facebook and Instagram and the skills obtained there can often sometimes lead to a lot of disruptions, and that could actually lead to not being employable. I want to take an example. If I'm busy with an interview and someone is busy on their phone or busy on Facebook or Twittering or whatever, or Instagram, then they are not serious, and they will obviously not be employable in this situation. Communication is so critical. I can give an example of many of the debates I've had subsequent to a specific task because the communication was not sufficient, and we need to teach and learn and give people an opportunity to develop communication skills, to be able to listen and understand, not be able only to speak, which is critical, but also to be able to write. And then taking into account the audience, being able to negotiate, being assertive, and being able to share information. That's all part of communication skills that is critical in the workplace. Teamwork, how to work in a team against all gender, ages, religious, political things, working in a group, knowing your role within a team, identifying strength, which means you're paying attention, you know which skill you can utilize best, and knowing your strength as a member of the team. And then ultimately, working towards coaching and mentoring skills would be an added advantage, of course. If you have it already, that is a huge advantage you're at the stage where you need to seek employment. And then planning and organizing to manage time and setting of opportunities, coordinating tasks for yourself and others. You need to be able to do it. Prioritizing. It is one of the skills that a lot of people are lacking. They don't know how to prioritize. They don't know how to coordinate tasks. So often a lot of my discussions with my consultants, I would say, these are all our projects. How do we prioritize to make sure which one is first and which we need to do immediately? Having clear goals and deliverables, how to allocate resources and people to tasks, and then having a proactive plan. These are essential to be able to be a responsible employees. And responsible employees with the necessary skills ultimately become leaders. And I want to add, leaders ultimately become entrepreneurs. And that is where we need to get our students and the mindset being changed. Then in terms of attributes, there is professional behavior, it is personal values that is critical. And these things, they need to get exposure to earlier rather than later. By far, it is a focus point in measuring of employability. If these skills are missing, then you are not employable and might be job hopping or not advancing where you get placed. Professional behavior is to abide by the set of rules within an organization. Things like being on time, being respectful to seniors, are principles that business operate on, which needs to be a constant. Fundamental principles in professional behaviors is demonstrating professional competency. And that is the part where obviously the academic part comes in. But competency is not being able to have knowledge. Competency is being able to apply knowledge, to be able to take action, to understand where it leads to. And then business and professional ethics is critical. Ethics is underlying factors which either fails a business or makes it achieve its goal. It is the application of your personal values, integrity, honesty, being accountable for what you do in a business, and then trustworthiness is other factors that I would say is critical. There's obviously a lot of things that you can attributes that you can have. But these are the things that I could think of that is critical if I do an interview or when I look at businesses. This is the things I would look at. Employability skills is then ultimately being a responsible employee who behaves professionally and ethically and creates sustainable value within an organization and to its shareholders. It is not about me, it is about a bigger picture, making an impact in a bigger sphere. Then, why is there a gap between the employee skills or the graduate skills and the employer? It's like a big gorge, and the graduates say, who, me? I'm perfect. And the employer says, oh my goodness, not another question on salary, not another question on me, a question. We expect questions to be broader, insightful, indicating creativity, a dimension that makes someone that very employable. And the gap between that is the perception again, and in the skills surrounding it. The reality is that everyone has gaps in skills. And it is important that the employee, the person that wants to seek employment, or the graduate sit down and know and identify the gaps. Employer will always focus on a sustainable value on a bigger scale, not only on individual benefits. So, but it's where you take hands and both benefit, that is where it becomes a win-win. And that person will go to one interview and they will be employable. And I really like the lady that came and Nadri or Nadarine, where she's a good example. She applied innovation before the time, and before she was finished, she was already employed. You know, that speaks to the specific measures. Then we all have skills gap, but it is being honest with ourselves to know what we need to work on and to gain, so the employer can get value. At least there is no false expectation and learning to focus on if we focus on lifelong learning and the individual knows what the gaps are. Buying into the future by all parties will benefit. So from a higher educational institution, you should assist students to identify these gaps. And gaps can be the lack of quality of knowledge and experience, inadequate facilities. There's sometimes a gap. Students cannot utilize technology, ineffective education, not preparing them for where they should go, and then the lack of application of personal values and professional behaviors. And bridging the gap is all the initiatives that has already been discussed. You know, the clubs and the competitions, and assisting them with skills, giving them the benefit of utilizing the skills that's available. All those things is critical in terms of that. And then absolutely, the one that I would like to highlight is emotional intelligence. Without that, you will not be able to cope in this changing environment, in a changing 21st century, in the change of way we do business. Everything has changed. And I can really speak to that in this time where everything has, in the world economy has come to a standstill, I have noticed that the people that have the consultants employed, the projects we had, it was actually the most efficient that we've ever been. And that is because we've addressed this skills gap, and we have been innovative in the way that we apply our minds and how we approach business. So success is a lousy teacher. It seduces smart people into thinking they can't lose. Yes, that is me. I hope I haven't missed you all. I'm going to stop sharing, and then you're more than welcome to ask questions. Sorry if I've repeated some of the things. Yes.
Wow, that's an insightful presentation, Madam Anca Fourie, and congratulations for your presentation. I think at this moment I can see the hand. I see Ampofo giving you a clap, and then I think, yeah, and I see Madam, that is Dr. Irene Brew-Rive says that Anca, thank you for your presentation. So that is kudos to you. So, ladies and gentlemen, at this moment, can we open up with our questions to Anca to speak on that, on her presentation? Any question to her? Okay, I see 2 hands. I see 3 hands. Okay, so let's start with Osei Owusu Ansa first. Osei, you can speak, please.
Thank you very much, Madam Anca Fourie, for the nice presentation. I took note you mentioned some valuable attributes such as professional behavior, personal values, the emotional intelligence aspect. But I just want to ask, are these inherent values, or we can teach in school for students or graduates who are passing out to really pay attention to these values and build themselves as they become employable? Or it is something personal that should be taught at home, as I may say? That's a lot of people's opinion. I just want to find out what you feel about it being in the industry.
Okay, so Anca, you can react to that.
Oh, great. So, Usai, thank you very much. It is such an important question you're asking. And I definitely think it's twofold. One, the personal values, obviously some of the personal values are something that is taught at home, a way of living, a way of engaging, who you are. But there is part of, you need to highlight that this is critical to employability, because this is something I would test. I would give a scenario and I would say, this is a personal scenario, how would you react? And I would actually test, what is your values, without even asking the question. And then secondly, the professional values. We find that the graduates do not have it. They're not even aware of professional behavior. So you tend of having a conflict situation with things that you actually think is actually critical. Now, I'm obviously a chartered accountant, so professional behaviors and values and ethics is part of who we are, and it's essential to our business. But the reality is that even if my business and my consulting business, going to the big corporates, I realize that this is something they are looking for. They will always come back to me because they know this is a value that my consultants apply and which we apply in life and in workplace also. So employability, it's I would say soft skills, those kind of things need to be exposed to that. They need to be created in scenarios. The reality in Africa, we are actually faced with these kind of things that is critical. And often people are surprised and they don't know how to react. So maybe, I don't know if that clarifies some of it, but there is obviously inherent values that you can't teach. But I think it's flagging it and saying this is how you can become employable, that I would just like to stress.
Exactly. That's great. I think I see the hands of Killian Asosiga. I think he wants to ask another question. Killian, can you speak?
Okay, all right. Thank you very much. And thank you very much, Anca Fourie, for your presentation. One of the key areas you mentioned was team work or team players from our graduates. I want to know, what is the best way to inculcate into our students teamwork? Now we have situations whereby you decide to form this group work for students, and then you group them. Students come back and they're like, I'm not comfortable working with AX. You ask them to form the group themselves, and they seem not to know who to be in the group with. So I want to know, what is the best way we can start training our students in forming this group, so that once they leave the four corners of the university, they can come out as good team players to help them fit well in the job market. Thank you.
Clean, that is exactly the big problem most of the graduates have, because in the workplace, you can't choose. You kind of get into a team and you need to work there. So definitely group work is a good way of going about it. And sometimes I want to say creating that conflict situation and then assisting them how to work through it. You know, because the reality is, I think in an academic department, we are so focused on the technical, which is excellent because we need to focus on the technical. That's why we're there. But that we don't want to create that friction. But I like being in conflict. I like being able to have the skills to resolve conflict. That is what I'm good at. But why am I good at it? Because I tend to put myself in situations where I need to handle it. So what I would really propose is group work. I would have like having two different opinions on a technical matter, and having that kind of conflicting views, and someone having to defend their view, because then you already acquire the skill, but it's maybe not in a, I don't know, measured way that will affect your academic mark. But that will then do a lot of things, critical thinking, help with the insight, you know, and we'll also get that soft skills, an opportunity to develop that soft skills is some of the things that I can think of that would be useful. The forums also where you choose topical matters and people can give their opinions also would be a way of getting those skills embedded into the academic part. I don't know if that would be useful, but definitely it's something that I would apply to assist them to go from theory to actual practical application of those and getting those knowledge and skills.
Okay, noted. I see the hand of Dr. Irene Brew-Rive. Doc, you can ask your question, please.
Oh, thank you very much for your presentation, Anca. I just wanted to ask how we can perhaps make ethical conduct more, shall I say, common and expected, because I think it's counterculture in some ways. And places like Ashesi University have an ethical code and the students abide by it and so on. But I just wonder, what can we do in our African context to promote more ethical conduct? And I just need to say, I have to hop off onto another call at 4, so I'm not trying to be rude, but that will be what will happen. Thank you.
Okay, I'm quickly going to say, I think from an ethical perspective is having the discussions, having ethical scenarios where there's that ethical dilemma where you need to determine, get them thinking on ethics and how they would apply ethics. Put scenarios down in class and see how they react. And then just unpack it, debrief it, saying, no, that's one quick way of doing it. That's what we apply from the chartered accountant's perspective. That is how we teach ethics. We'd give them scenarios and we'd say, just apply your mind. How would you deal with it? Ethical dilemmas. How would you deal with this?
Lovely. Thank you.
Okay, noted. I see the hand of Anca Fourie. Anca, you can ask your question, please.
Okay, good afternoon, and thank you for that. That was a very insightful presentation, Ms. Anca Fourie. Hello, can you hear me?
Yes, sorry, I can hear you.
I hear you.
I just have a few questions. The moderator, I want to know the presentation. Are we going to have the presentations after the conference? That's one question that I want to ask. The presentation, are we going to have it after the conference?
Okay, thank you. I think it is subject to the individual presenter who, because it's an intellectual property and they are to share knowledge. So it is subject to them to decide whether to give it out or not. So maybe since Ms. Anca is also here, maybe we can find out from her if she is willing to also open up, then she can make it in the form of a document and then share with us, and then we will send it to you. Yeah.
I'm asking because I think it would be very helpful in terms of reflecting back on this conference if we could have access to some of these presentations. All right, so my second question is actually a suggestion. You see, there appears to be like how Ms. Anca was presenting. You could see, and what this whole conference has actually been about. There's a gap between industry and then academia. So more or less, academia is producing students, and then industry is complaining that, oh, some of these students don't have the skills, you know, that we are looking for, and at the end of the day, we cannot employ them. Now, one area that I want to perhaps shift our attention to is the issue about mentoring. You see, when we are in the university, particularly those of us who did project work in our final years, we are assigned to lecturers, and then their job is to monitor us to do projects in particular areas, especially usually areas where they are already interested in, or areas where they have a lot of information. And I'm thinking, don't you think it's also about time that the academia actually strategically, right from the beginning of students program, assign them to certain people who are already in the industry? You understand? So that so we don't wait till a student goes through the whole 4-year program, come out, then an employer will say, oh, this person doesn't have the skills that I need, and then he or she will not be relevant. But if right from the beginning, you could have a structured program where in certain, like how Ms. Anca Fourie is saying, she's coming from, she has an accounting background. Now, let's say a university like your university, for instance, UNAC, says, okay, we have this partnership with Ms. Anca Fourie's, company, whereby maybe 5 students under Ms. Anca Fourie for 5 business students or accounting students, and then their mentor is Ms. Anca Fourie. And so when in the course of their program, if they have any challenge questions or whatever, right, their go-to person is Ms. Anca Fourie. So what it means is that within that whole year of training, the students, we are affecting the students in terms of the insight, and then the aptitude. But then the skill also, the student has the chance to interact with someone who is already on the ground. So by the time they come out of university, this issue of, oh, the skills we are looking for in this profession, this student or this type of student don't have that, so they can't be relevant. I think we'll be able to partly address some of those challenges. Because like she rightly said, in this 21st century, a lot of things change really fast. The skill that the student might have been exposed to in the course of a study, by the time he finishes the 4 years, the things might have changed. But if he is constantly in contact with someone who is already on the ground, at least there will be some form of guidance, you know, so that at the end of the day, he comes out with something, not as if he's coming out with nothing at all, that now we have to find remedial steps or what we are going to do to help such people to also fit in. So I think the issue of mentorship, just like how in most universities, we run them, especially in the final years when it comes to projects, if we can expand similar things and link students up with people who are already on the field who will be interested in mentoring some students, then at the end of the day, we are already having a sneak peek into what will happen in the after school life. That is just something small that I want to share.
I definitely agree. I think that is part of the problem. There is a disconnect between academia and the students, and mentorship will definitely help. I just think if you have 400 students, it's going to be difficult to get 400 mentors. But certainly, there's other things you can do. You can have people from the industry come and talk about the various academic programs, what's the potential, what is the need, kind of the gap, indicating, exactly what we've done in your various disciplines. And that would definitely be sustainable in terms of entrepreneurs have limited time, or people from industry have limited time, but there's definitely people that are willing to mentorship and do mentorship on a regular basis, or even a part of it. I would definitely say mentorship is critical just before you get your degree, like your last year before you get your degree, where you are there at a stage where you kind of need to gauge what's going on in the market and to prepare you for the next step. So that is where I would probably apply it, but I definitely do agree.
Okay, thank you so much, Ms. Anca Fourie, and we are so grateful. We are so grateful. In fact, you have really given us an insight to your presentation, and we've added to knowledge. In fact, we are grateful. At this juncture, we are finally coming to the wrap of an end to this session, which is the final session, and it has been the final session to the 3-day conference. And I will say to everybody that we thank you so much. But before that, I think we have the registrar online, and then the vice chancellor. They have words to share with us. So at this moment, if registrar is online, we want registrar to talk to us, then VC would also come and then wrap it up with all of us. So registrar, please take over, please. Hello, registrar. Oh, okay, maybe we've lost him. Okay, then VC, please, you can take over. VC. Hello, VC. Prof, please, you can take over.
Hello.
Yeah, hello, Prof, you can take over. Yes. We can hear you,
yes.
Prof.
Good afternoon, gentlemen.
Good afternoon, Prof. Hello, Prof, we can hear you, Prof.
Right. Yes. On this historic 3-day conference, I want to use this to thank everyone.
I think hello, Vicky.
Hello.
Yes, your network.
Oh.
Hello. Oh, that's so sorry for that. Okay, we are so connected.
Hello.
Hello, Vicky. We can hear you.
Hello. Yes, I have.
Go on.
Oh, can you hear? Yes.
Yes,
okay.
we can hear you.
Every one of you. All right. I want to thank all the participants for your time, especially those who had time that made presentations. We have learned a lot during this 3-day conference. Indeed, we've all agreed to the fact that skills training is very important. There's a need for us to collaborate. There's a need for us to even change the curriculum, the way we teach the skills training, the soft skills. And for us to produce products, students that will not be just only job seekers, but job creators, as also who have the employable skills. We have learned a lot, a very important topics have been discussed. want to thank all of you. Very near future, we will be able to have a meeting, a conference that will be face-to-face conference, and so that we can deliver. We hope that all the universities try to see job skills training as a key component of training, key component in the training of students. And in so doing, we also help the tertiary institutions, will help in reducing unemployment, because we are inculcating the employable skills to the students. Very easy for them to get employment. Economies of African countries will also improve. So at this, I want to say thank you once again. Have a
Okay. Bye, Visi. Thank you so much. Thank you so much for that wonderful celebration. Let's take a word too from if registrar is online. Registrar. Hello, registrar, please. You can come online. Okay. Maybe we can't get him for now. So, as VC has given us the final word, we'll say thank you once again to all of you. In fact, to AAU TV, we say may God bless you for your wonderful partnership and support. We thank you, Ashesi University. We thank you, individual students who have also made it a part to this presentation and then being a participant to this conference. We say God bless you. We thank you all, Dr. Violet Makuku. You've been so industrious, and we say may God bless you. Mr. Ransford, Schneider, all of you at AAU, we say God bless you. We thank the team from Ashesi in the person of Stephen Jan and then Adobia. We say God bless you all. We also thank you, Eric. We also say may God bless you. We thank everybody who has been a part of contributing to make this conference 2021 Ultimate Conference a success. And to you individuals who are out there, who has also been a part of it, your contributions. To all of you, we say, may God bless you. We thank you. And we hope that, God willing, since this is a maiden conference for this year, we are praying hard and hoping that from next year, it will keep on. We will continue to have such conference. And to all our various main speakers who gave keynote addresses and that of our guest speakers, we say thank you so much. And we say, are you called to all of you? Dr. Riverson from UK, those from diaspora, Namibia, Anca Fourie, and then that of Madame from Zimbabwe, Mrs. Rosemary Sibanda. We say, God bless you all. And we are so grateful. We are so grateful. And so at this moment, we would say bye-bye to you. But we would wish if Mrs. Anca Fourie would slash into the chat box her email address contact so that our participants can also pick it from there, so we can build that interaction and network from there. So let's do that. And so thank you, and we are grateful. May God bless all of us. So live from University of Energy and Natural Resource, we say thank you all, and then let's build this synergy, and then we are so grateful. Our contact is CC, Center for Student Skills Enhancement at uenr.edu.gh. I think we have it there. You can pick it anytime, any questions. We are going to send in our evaluation forms. You pick it, you send us the feedback, and then we are also going to work on that. and we'll be communicating with you. We have your addresses, and we are going to work hard to build that relationship. May God bless you and have a successful day. Bye-bye for now. Bye. So David from Ghana, bye-bye.